Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Molinda Jae, and I'm here to do a story time with you all when it comes to breastfeeding, because if you don't know already, August is the month of Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And I just found out a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, that there is also a Black Breastfeeding Awareness Week, which started on the 25th and it ends tomorrow on the 31st of this month. So without further ado, I'm about to share my story because I breastfed my kid till he was the age of 4. Now hold up, I know y'all are like, what the crap? How in the world did you do it, especially when the child had the teeth and carry on? I know, but hey, it was my comfort, and that was his comfort as well. Of course, he don't take too lightly of it now since he is older. And he still gets like baffled when I tell him, well, I used to breastfeed you when you was until literally a couple weeks before you got to pre-K. And he's like, no, so yeah. So on to the beginning. Like I said, it started out, of course, whenever you're pregnant, they will ask you the question, do you plan on breastfeeding? And I said yes. The reason why I said yes is because first, it was my firstborn, and secondly, I just wanted to try it out. You hardly hear anybody else in your family talk about they breastfed their child. And my mom had I believe she breastfed me for a couple of months, and then she took me off. And far as like my brothers, I don't think she breastfed my brother. If she did, it was probably the same thing as well. It was only for a couple months, and she took us off, because I believe she was working. Yeah, she was working at the time. So yes. So I wanted to try it out because I just wanted to see how far I could go when it comes to breastfeeding. And of course, it seemed taboo for the most part with most people when it comes to nursing your child. So yeah, I said yes, and they provide me a breastfeeding lactation or lactation consultant. That is the proper name. And of course, what the purpose of a lactation consultant is, just basically keeping up with you periodically on whether you still want to breastfeed your kid or not. And if you do, then of course they'll provide you with a breastfeed pump machine and a couple of supplies, so you can go ahead and embark on your breastfeeding journey. And if not, then of course they will just close the case and proceed on with the next person that is either still within their that's still a client of theirs or not. So I would hear from my lactation at least every month. Every time I went to the health department, or every time I went to the OBGYN to get myself checked, that's when I would hear either by phone call or email, but most of the time it was by phone call, checking on me and asking, are you still planning on breastfeeding? How are you doing? And I would say yes, and I would tell her how was I doing, and the rest is history. Okay, fast forward on to now it's time to have the baby. No, I don't think she came to the hospital when I had her. I believe when either a couple weeks before I had him, or after I had him, that's when they provided me with the breastfeeding machine, and it was free of cost. It was basically renting. You're basically renting the breastfeeding machine, and then you check it back in when you get done, or when you are weaning your child off of off the breast, or just when you feel like you're done. But in the breastfeeding package, there, of course, there's the pump, there's the suction cups, there's the tubes that you will attach to the machine so it can provide the suction. It provides you with the bottles, the nipples, and a couple of other items that went along with the machine to make sure there was no like mildew or mold buildup in there. And I believe for the first time they will provide you with the paddings for your nipples, so you won't have to have the leakage. But other than that, you'll have to buy it yourself. And then so yes, I had the baby, got the machine, and no, my milk did not come right when I had the child, because once I had my child, we just only had skin to skin contact, and then they took them and of course did their thing. And of course I had my mom watch them do whatever they was doing when it came to my son. And then my grandma was there as, and then of course my child's father was with me as well, and just to make sure I was okay. And after the hospital, well, yeah, after we got done with the hospital, that's when I was able to check out and go home. And of course, again, my milk hadn't came, but I would say it came at least a week later after I had him. So we fed him Similac formula for the most part, but each day I would have him latch on, well, you know, try to latch on and, you know, start the sucking process so the milk can start coming. And then, like I said, towards the end of the week after I had him, that's when the milk came. And of course it'll be that yellowish liquidy substance, and make sure your child drinks that, because that's important. That helps fight with infections and so forth and so on. That's okay. I think they call it colostrum. But anyways, y'all, I will post a link in the comment section below or in the description in regards to the little liquid. But after that, that's when the milk came, and then it was go time. Like I said, it didn't take much within the first month. It didn't take much for him to, you know, get full, because like I said, the stomach is small at the time because he's a newborn. He was a preemie newborn at the same time. And so I started attempting pumping, and it will work for the most part. I only produce only a little amounts. Yeah, that's even with the diet that I was on, the food I was eating. I was definitely drinking water, even though woo, like when they provide you with that hospital jug like pitcher or container, I would just look at it like, bro, am I gonna be done with this water yet? Because it was so much water, oh my gosh. But when it came to using that pump, I was only able to produce just so little of it. It wouldn't even make it towards the it wouldn't even make it past the half mark of the bottle. And so, however, when it came to me doing that, I have to do that away from him, because he can smell the scent of the breast milk being pumped, and and being put in the bottle. He can smell that. Babies can smell breast milk, okay? So even when I was in the other room, he would get agitated a little bit, start crying. And then I just did a little test one day of just pumping right beside him, and he would get agitated because he would smell it. And so that was a no-go. And I even tried pumping while he was on the breast, but he was like giving me the impression like, put that away, put that away. I just strictly want the breast, that's it. So at that point in time, I just stuck to just strictly breastfeeding him because he was greedy, and he did not, you know, it took a long time for anything to come out. Well, for me to even reach a half of the bottle for milk to just put away and stuff. So I just said, forget it. I'm just going to just breastfeed him for until I feel like weaning him off, or until he feels like getting weed off, and that's that. So yeah, that's what happened. I breastfed when I was, he would come into the bath, he would even come in the bathroom and and ask for a breast. And I know that's gross and all, but he would come to the bathroom while I'm in the bathroom to get some milk. He would come in the kitchen. Wherever I was at, he was at. Okay? So that's one thing for sure. Wherever I was at, he was somewhere close by, because eventually he was going to get hungry to where he would want some milk. And at that time, I would say the the person I was dealing with, he was getting a little jealous because of the fact that, you know, it's like the attention, I was giving the baby more attention than he was. And then of course, with the baby being attached to the mom because of the mother's nurturing the kid, it's like the bond is strengthening even more than the bond between the father and the son, or whatever the case may be. But there was a little jealousy, you know, that came into play, but we made things work for the most part at the time. And but yeah, I would say everywhere I went, yes, I did breastfeed. Like, that was even before there was even hoorah or like backlash of women breastfeeding out in public, so to speak. Like me, I didn't care. Like, as long as my child was hungry and I had the supply to feed him at the time, best believe my child is gonna eat. That, no doubt about it. Even when I was in church and folks were looking at me like, girl, what are you doing over there? What is the baby doing over there? I mean, like, it's not taboo, people. Our ancestors used to do this way before Similac and formula used to come about, or used to be, or before it came into production. That is human nature. That's what God, source, universe, whomever, that was the gift that they gave with the women, was to nourish your child through breast milk, because that was liquid gold, still is liquid gold to this day. Because it helps fight with infection, it improves brain development, and the list goes on. That fights sickness and stuff, the list goes on. So yes, I breastfeed my child everywhere I went, whether I was at a restaurant, basketball game, football game, church, wherever I was at, he was gonna eat regardless. Okay, so and I had no shame to my game, because if he wanted it, of course he would grab the shirt or he'll just lift the shirt, or wherever the access was, he was gonna get to it. And as long as I had a blanket to put over my shoulder, he was gonna be able to eat. And at that point in time, when I stood my ground and didn't care what anybody said to me or even thought about me when it came to breastfeeding my child at the moment, especially when it was at church, when people saw that blanket throw over my shoulder, they already knew right then and there. Even the ushers, they already knew right then and there the baby is getting fed at the present moment. And yes, you might as well say there was a designated area where we sat at. We sat in the far corners of the church, so we wouldn't cause any spectacle, even though the church and the pastor and the musicians were able to look upstairs to see what is going on. But even then, everybody knew what was happening upstairs in the corner, and the blanket was over my shoulder. My baby was gonna get fed. Another thing is that whenever it came to the natural disasters, and of course whenever the power went out, as long as I was able to eat, I had to keep this in mind. And I hope y'all keep this in mind whenever y'all do have the chance to breastfeed your kids, if you are able to eat at the time, best believe your child is going to be able to eat, because again, whatever you eat, they're going to eat. So as long as you are feeding and nourishing yourself with a balanced diet, or with the best nutrition possible, best proteins, carbohydrates, all that other stuff, and carrying on, your baby is going to get the same thing as well, just in the liquid form. As far as drinking alcohol, I'm not a drinker at all. I'll drink occasionally, but not constantly, because with my body type, it's a no for me. But yeah. I mean, I know it's starting to make its rounds nowadays, as far as like a lot more people are breastfeeding their kids, and that's good. That's what we need to embrace a little bit more, and not make it so taboo, because as I stated before, that is what our ancestors did. That's what they did from generations before Similac and formula came into production. So yeah, there was even an instance there was even an instance that my kid had, and he was 10 months at the time. He posted a picture of me breastfeeding him on my mother's on my mother's page, because he was playing with the iPad at the time. He was 10 months. He was playing with the iPad at the time, and I kid you not, my cousin had called me about a couple minutes later, and she said, "Girl, did you know your breast is all over the internet?" And I was like, "No, I did not." She said, "It's on your mother's profile. Be sure to go on there and whether on whatever device that it was posted on, and delete that immediately before you go viral." I said, "Okay, cuz, thank you for letting me know." Cuz girl, oh my goodness, like, and when I seen the picture, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom!" He literally posted a picture on the internet with me breastfeeding him, and it was a picture that was already taken days before or months before, and he somehow was able to post that on the platform. But it's gone. Okay, it's gone. You cannot see it no more. That was way back when. But other than that, yeah. Did I have any breast milk stored in the refrigerator? Yes. I had some stored in the refrigerator and the freezer. But as I stated before, I did strictly breast until he turned the age of 3. And once he got to the age of 3, we had took me and my the group of friends that I was hanging with at the time. We took a trip to Panama City and for spring break, and that was one of the ways of me getting him off of the milk, because I've tried all the methods to get him off. I tried the lettuce, I tried the salt, I tried the hot the hot sauce. I tried everything, y'all. Everything. To wean my kid off the breast milk. And literally when I went on that trip for spring break for a whole week, that was the initiation of me weaning him off, because if he's not near it, then he's not gonna ask for it. And yes, he was still eating solids, regular food. He was eating salads. He was eating everything at the time, and drinking water, drinking apple juice. But he still wanted that breast milk because that was the comfort as well. And yes, there were times when, as a matter of fact, I did this a whole lot. I don't recommend everybody doing this, but I did this a whole lot. When I was in the bed, he was in the bed with me, and if he was hungry, then of course he would latch on and eat whatever he wanted to eat, and then of course it would get to that point where he's not eating anymore, and he'll just have it still in his mouth. But of course I would take it out of his mouth, because it almost acts like a pacifier as well. And but I don't recommend people doing that nowadays, because you can easily just roll over on the child and you know, squish them. But with me, I would always be laying like this, and he would be eating this way. And if that breast was empty, then I would just switch over on the other side, and then just let him, you know, feed on that end as well. I don't recommend, like I said, I do not recommend everybody, don't do that. Don't do that. But that was one thing I would not do again. Okay. Another thing, I'm trying to figure out anything else that came into mind. The teeth. I know y'all wondering about the teeth. Now, of course, yes, the teeth is gonna come in, and whatever the case may be. But did I get bit? Yeah, I did. But I got bit. I'm gonna keep it moving. That's how I react to it. Of course, I'll be like, ow, you know. But it's not like he was constantly doing it while he was, you know, while he was still nursing at the time when he had teeth. It's not like he was constantly doing it. It was just like unexpected, spare of the moment type of thing. So yeah, don't be afraid whenever the kids start getting teeth, and you get a little fear of, okay, how many times are they gonna bite me? They're not gonna bite you like constantly like this. No, it's just like sporadic, spare of the moment type of things, because the usual range of breastfeeding in the U.S. is from 6 to 12 months, compared to other nations is to 3 to 5 years old. So I'm like in the global type of spectrum of, you know, breastfeeding my child to the age of 4 type of thing. But yeah, don't be afraid if when the teeth comes in. It's like a little pinch. But however, if you're able to get nipple piercings, as well as letting your man suck your breast when your man has a whole set of grown man teeth, then you can allow your kid to do the same thing as well. My opinion. Fight me in the comment section. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, if you're able to manage the nipple piercings, if you're able to manage your partner sucking on your breast and they have full adult teeth, please allow your child. Don't be scared to, you know, take a couple pinches when it comes to breastfeeding your kid. All right, simple as that. But I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that came into mind. I would say what I've learned from this breastfeeding experience is, of course, the bond between the mother and the child. Of course, the moments of them pushing and pulling on your shirt, trying to get to the location so they can get something to eat, saving a ton of money. Okay, saving a ton of money was the key. When it came to breastfeeding, I saved tons and tons of money, and I am thankful when it came to those natural disasters that my child was still going to be able to get the nourishment that he needed, because as I stated before, as long as I'm eating, he's going to eat. Feed me so I can feed him. That's the goal. Feed me so I can feed my child. You're basically eating for two, again, just like how you were when you're pregnant, except the kid is outside of the womb and you are just providing extra nourishment to the kid as they grow. All right, and I'm trying to figure out anything else that I learned from this breastfeeding experience. Is would I do it all over again? Yes, the heck I would. But it was very it was a very powerful experience, especially when it came to not caring about how people thought about me when I was doing it in public, because respectfully, I covered my assets so my child can be able to eat. But yeah, if you would like for me to do another video on like some breastfeeding facts or whatever, please feel free to leave a comment down below, so I can do the research on that, which I've been doing on that already. And I'm also going to segue in another video about the breastfeeding topic as well, because my mother had came across an article, in essence, about the lack of lactations for melanated people. So be sure to be on the lookout for that video as well. As always, I thank you all for tuning in to the story time. I believe this is my first story time. It may have been a little bit all over the place, but that's okay. The lesson for this video is that we are definitely each one and teaching one, and everybody's experience is not the same. And for the mothers out there who are nursing out there, I salute y'all. To y'all, my salute goes to y'all. For the ones who would have liked to have breastfed but didn't have the support at the time, oh, that's another thing I had forgot to mention, was the support. I'll do that in another video. That would definitely be in the other video, as far as like the lack of melanated lactation consultants. That would definitely be in there. But yes, I thank you all for tuning in to this story time. Feel free to leave a comment down below of your thoughts and opinions about this story time and how I breastfed my child to the age of 4. Feel free to like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time I upload a video. And always, until next time, always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself so you can heal thyself. And all my social media links will be in the description box below. Please check those out and like and subscribe. All right, bye guys.